Isabelle Laurent, a woman of grace and dignity, has always believed that love is a young person's game. At 60, she lives a life of quiet routine in Paris, cherishing her memories and the love she once had with her late husband. Her children, now grown with families of their own, are her pride and joy, though they leave her alone in her sprawling apartment more often than not. On a seemingly ordinary day, while awaiting results for a routine health checkup at the hospital, Isabelle's past unexpectedly walks back into her life. Gabriel Dubois, her university friend, and perhaps her one missed opportunity at love, recognizes her after years of separation. They exchange pleasantries, but what starts as a casual conversation quickly turns into a heartfelt reunion, leading to hours of reminiscing about the past. Gabriel, still as charming as ever, confesses that he never married. His life, consumed by his career, left no room for personal relationships, a choice he now regrets. Isabelle, though flattered by his attention, is cautious. She's lived her life for her children, and the idea of rekindling an old flame seems both thrilling and terrifying. As their meetings become more frequent, Isabelle begins to see a future with Gabriel, one filled with companionship and the kind of love she thought was lost to her youth. However, her happiness is short-lived. When Isabelle confides in her children about Gabriel's proposal, she is met with unexpected resistance. Louis, the eldest, sees the relationship as a threat to the memory of his father. He's also concerned about societal judgment and the potential scandal of his mother remarrying at her age. Julien is more supportive but worries about the speed at which things are moving. Claire, although sympathetic, is apprehensive about what her in-laws and social circle would think. Isabelle is heartbroken by their reaction. She retreats into herself, unsure of how to proceed. Gabriel, sensing her turmoil, suggests they take a short trip together to the French countryside. Just the two of them, away from the prying eyes of society and the disapproving stares of her children. Isabelle hesitates but eventually agrees, seeing this as a chance to find clarity. The trip to the countryside is magical. Gabriel takes Isabelle to a quaint village where they stay in a charming cottage overlooking a vineyard. They spend their days exploring the local sights, laughing like they did in their youth, and sharing dreams they never dared to speak aloud before. Isabelle feels a freedom she hasn't known in decades.
If you like charming stories that touch the heart and inspire the mind, be sure to press the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive more wonderful tales.
But the tranquility is disrupted when Louis arrives unexpectedly. He tracked them down, driven by a mix of guilt and concern. A heated argument ensues between him and Gabriel, with Isabelle caught in the middle. Louis accuses Gabriel of manipulating his mother and trying to replace his father. Gabriel, in turn, accuses Louis of being selfish and unable to see his mother's happiness. The confrontation leaves Isabelle torn. She loves her children, but Gabriel has awakened something in her that she thought was long dead. She pleads with Louis to understand, but he storms off, leaving her devastated. Returning to Paris, Isabelle faces the reality of her situation. Gabriel is willing to wait, but the tension between him and her children is unbearable. Isabelle, after much soul-searching, decides to break things off with Gabriel, believing it to be the only way to keep her family intact. Gabriel, heartbroken but understanding, respects her decision. He leaves Paris, but not without leaving Isabelle with a letter. In it, he expresses his undying love for her and his wish for her happiness, whatever that may be. He tells her that he will always be waiting for her if she ever changes her mind. Isabelle tries to move on, but life without Gabriel feels emptier than ever. Her children notice her sadness, especially Julien, who eventually confronts his siblings. He urges them to reconsider their stance, arguing that their mother deserves happiness, even if it comes in a form they hadn't expected. Meanwhile, Claire finds herself in a similar situation. Her marriage is strained, and she realizes that she's been projecting her own fears onto her mother. She visits Isabelle and confesses her struggles, finally understanding that love and happiness are not bound by age. In a surprising turn of events, the children come together and agree to support their mother's decision. They realize that their fears were more about their insecurities than about their mother's happiness. Louis takes the first step, apologizing to Isabelle and urging her to reach out to Gabriel. But when Isabelle tries to contact Gabriel, she learns that he has left for an extended trip to Italy, possibly to escape the pain of their separation. Desperate, Isabelle decides to follow him, determined not to let this second chance at love slip away. In Italy, Isabelle searches for Gabriel through the scenic streets of Rome, the romantic canals of Venice, and the beautiful landscapes of Tuscany. She finally finds him in a small coastal town, sketching the sunset by the sea. Overwhelmed with emotion, Isabelle confesses her love and apologizes for letting him go. Gabriel, with tears in his eyes, takes her hand, and they share a passionate kiss as the sun sets behind them.